If I see a $1.7 billion target, bro, let's get some money.
Vance.
Vance Dotson is a credit repair expert who helps people take legal action against debt collectors.
That's when the journey of suing these companies started. It was over that medical bill. It was just like having sex, man. I've just been on it ever since. It's gonna start and end with the courthouse, period. Because if they're violating you, dude, you need to be compensated for that, period. It's nothing else around that.
With you going into these court systems against these lawyers and everything, what happens in that conversation?
Once you understand the rules, it's game.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of Attractive Mindset. And listen, today's guest, all the way from out of town, man. I done heard his name around the streets, but this is my first time really getting to meet him. And trust me, we're going to have an amazing conversation. We got my dog Vance in the building, man.
What up, man? All the way from Oklahoma City, man, just dropping in.
Okay. So Vance, I know a little bit about what you do, but this isn't the typical credit guy kind of podcast episode. Yeah. You are in the credit field, but tell people exactly how you leverage that.
All right. So we have, as consumers, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say FCRA. Mm-hmm. Then you have the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. So I'm going to say the FDCPA. And from there, since 2004, I've just been developing a skill. So when I first started, man, I was just riding around the neighborhood, helping friends out, stuff like that. And then I had a car wreck. So this scar you see on my face, that's where that comes from. I was actually, driving down the highway, eating some Long John Silver's and driving with my knee. I had an Escalade, and then I had a wreck. I was talking on the phone, speakerphone too.
Damn.
And it had a wreck. And so from there, I had, the police ambulance called, went to the hospital. They checked me out. Then here come the letters, here come the phone calls. And so then that's when the journey of suing these companies started. And so it was over that medical bill. And then it was just like having sex, man. I've just been on it ever since.
So the shirt say, I sue debt collectors.
Oh, yeah. Man, listen, man, I put this on my chest every day for a reason. So if it ain't real, man, don't put it on. So it's deeper than just a shirt, you know what I mean? And so it means it's a little deeper, been in the game since 2004, been suing since 2008. So it's the defense companies that's going to see this, they study it to see what I'm doing. The people who know what I do as far as suing a lot of these companies on a high level, they gonna tag along. But I release information, man, that's gonna hit somebody's bottom line, because like text messaging, all of these companies are moving towards technology, like emailing, calling. They've been doing that for years. So if somebody looking at this or listening to this podcast, it's just like, dude, like, they're calling me. And so I tell them to record it, because you always got to have proof. Just get you another phone. Just hit record. So like you might need to get set up, right? You might need to record the call. So you get set up, go get your phone, charge it up, and just call them back. But hey, I got a missed call from this number. It don't take much. Everything I do is very simple. Like if it's too sophisticated, bro, I'm not gonna do it.
Got you.
You know what I mean? I'm just not gonna do it.
So, because we have a lot of people whose heads is gonna go over.
Yeah.
Even me to a certain point.
Yeah.
You professionally sue people, and you're not a lawyer.
No, I'm not a lawyer. Yeah, not a lawyer.
So you sue people for a living.
Yeah.
That's fire.
So let me dive deep into that. So even that became a thing, right? So what I did, so people would come and get the service, but they couldn't pay, for the filing fee or pay for my fee for the service. So I generated or just came up with this thing called the assignment of claim. So I would contractually go into contract with you or whoever it may be, And I would literally file that with the lawsuit. So everybody, we all on the same page.
Yeah.
And then, so I ran that for a long time. And then they talking, it was BS, bro. The courts stopped me from doing it. And so they said, let's go back to the FDCPA. The basis of it is if you had a tax debt, that's not a contractual debt, right? So in Florida, you see all these tolls. That's not a contractual debt. So when you go get a credit card or a car, or you go to the hospital, get a medical bill, you're agreeing to pay that. So that's contractual debt. And so the FDCPA, for it to be governed under the FDCPA, it has to be contractual. So the courts come back and say, hey, this is a tort claim. And I'm saying, how is this a tort claim? So you specifically telling me a credit card contract, something you got to agree to, terms and service conditions and all of that, is a tort claim. So I was just like, dude, this is BS, right? So I had to restructure how I do my business from there. But yeah, so it didn't stop anything. If anything, it enhanced it.
Got you.
You see what I'm saying? Because I had to go put people in certain positions to go to the next level.
So before I take it back a little bit, with you going into these court systems against these lawyers and everything, what is that conversation? What happens in that conversation?
So let me ask you this. Have you heard of a guy named LeBron James?
Yeah.
How effective of a player would he have been if he don't understand the basic rules to basketball?
Not effective.
That's everybody. Once you understand the rules, it's game. It's game. Because this is the thing. Like, we're in Florida right now. It don't matter if it's Wisconsin or Texas or Oklahoma. It don't matter if it's New York. It don't matter. It's federal laws. It's the same across the board.
Okay.
So all I did was studied the FCRA, studied the FDCPA, and I just picked a lane.
Okay.
So these companies, these defense attorneys, they made it a little bit more personal. So I was doing it as business, right? So when they mention my name in a response, right, in these motions and documents, things like that online, they me writing articles. I'm like, damn, I'm blown away. Like, damn, they mentioning me, but they mentioning me in a negative light. So I'm the type of person, I'm finna look at that problem head on. So I was just like, you know what? I'll screenshot it, put the little green screen in the back and tell people about it. You know what I mean? And so one YouTube interview that really, I knew he was 100% talking to me. It's a defense firm out of Dallas, Texas. He controlled about 60% of these debt collection lawsuits. Yeah, around the United States. And so he was just like, we manual these credit repair companies, and we have to manually review what's going on. So it's just like everybody on this AI kick, everybody on this scaling kick, So you got to use technology a lot when you're doing that. And so what I did was I took that information, and so I'm like, dang, I just think about it. And so how can I throw a little wrench in it? Right. So with technology, let's say a bug, right? Whatever that may mean, like something ain't working right.
Yeah.
How can I be a bug in that technology? So all I started doing was really analyzing, is this company going, violation wise, is this company going to respond better in writing, like handwritten in writing, or is this company going to respond better in typing?
Got you.
Typing a
So
letter.
when you say respond better, you want them to give you a certain response or a certain answer?
Hey, hit VanceDotson.com for the latest and greatest, all the events. If you're a business, reach out. If you're a consumer needing credit repair, reach out. That's the wait list. Always get on that. Well, yeah, so you got protection under the we're talking about the FDCPA now. So you got certain protection under the FDCPA that I utilize at a high level. So instead of saying something won't work or this ain't effective no more, my testing game is just superb. Like, meaning I might test first of all, I'm going to test something 100 times, period.
How much does it cost you to do that?
Every letter that you mail out via UPS is like $5.50 some odd cents now. And then, the cost of an envelope and a letter. So you're looking at probably, let's just say $7 all in.
Gotcha.
But I'm going to test it. I'm going to test something at least 100 times before I just give up and say it don't work. Or, in that same token, I'm still tweaking to see what's going to hit. You know what I mean? And I'm exploiting. It's like dang near running ads. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I'm running ads with violations.
Mailbox ads.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Now that's dope. And so when you, how do I want to phrase this? Can you lose?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When you lose, what does that do to you? If you're representing yourself, like how does the representation work?
Man, anybody that's been 20 years in the game like me plus, or let's just say 10 or 5, anybody been doing it a consistent amount of time has taken losses. And so I have taken losses. But it's a loss, but it's not necessarily a loss, right? Okay. So I use the appeals courts a lot. So let's talk about essentially E8, right? So
what's E8?
E8 within the FDCPA.
Okay.
It's Section E is a section within the FDCPA.
Okay.
And then subsection 8. Okay. Is a law. Essentially, if the consumer disputes, they have to mark it disputed.
Gotcha.
So I when my phone rings, I'm listening for that story, So I listen for the story and say, hey, listen, you need to call him back and tell him that, but you need to record it. Send me the recording, right? Keep it under 3 minutes. And so, man, I slid for like 10 years with that, making a lot of money with that. So in the FDCPA, you don't have to say the word dispute in order to get protection under that law. So say for an example, a lady will call me and be like, she didn't pay the car, right? They repossessed it. Now here comes a debt collection company by like NCB, trying to collect the debt. And then keep in mind what they're saying to me logically, like it just don't make sense on why you didn't pay. So say for an example, like the motor went out, the AC was bad, or the transmission was bad. And I'll just be like, look, you know what? Tell them that, but record it and send me the recording. And what that is a dispute of some kind, because within the FDCPA, you can dispute the validity, you can dispute the debt, or you can dispute a portion of the debt. Right?
Gotcha.
So right there, it's just going over the debt collector's head. So how did I take a loss with that? A lot of people started using it because when I go live on social media, I'm not just giving you no watered down information. I'm going to tell you, somebody going to comment, people is people. So you can, dude, people can sense like, man, he on some BS. So I don't give out BS, period. The person may not understand the game, but what I'm telling you is 100%, real. So with that being said, this company in Dallas, Texas, law firm and defense attorneys in Dallas, Texas, they're pushing it, meaning they're challenging everything. So once again, it goes back to the consumer. A lot of people, and I don't want to just put black people in that, but a lot of black people is unarticulate. They just not articulate, right? So, but that's good within the FDCPA because it's written up for the least sophisticated consumer. So when consumers is having these problems, these companies are saying, oh, this call, they're not labeling it as a dispute. This call has no merit to this. Yeah. Well, the FDCPA says it doesn't have to have merit. The only thing you got to do is mark it disputed, which they did not do. Right. So we provide proof like that to the court. We provide the call and they be like, well, this didn't have nothing to do with the debt. It doesn't matter. So now we're at the point of now we're taking it to appeals court. Now the appeals court is looking at it. So this is the key thing. So I've been doing this 20 years, 20 years this year. So everybody know me, right? A lot of people know me, right? That's probably going to be looking at this and they like, how is he doing it? That's how I'm doing it, because you got to understand it becomes a fact question, right? So say, for example, you got a lot of these companies that's donating money to these, judges' campaigns and stuff like that. So they like, so when that judge sees that company, they're going to be like, man, we're going to go in the favor of this person. This person, went to law school with this person or
they
whatever.
buying the bench.
Yeah, man. So I'm up against that 24/7. So to keep it real simple, once that case is filed, if it's a dispute, then it goes to the jury. But this is the thing. The courts is ruling like, oh no, it's not a dispute. It's not for you to say if it's a dispute or not. It's for the jury.
Yeah.
So you have something called a summary judgment motion. So what they do is they come with this BS and says, hey, there is no material fact question here. Keep in mind, the beginning of it is, if it is a dispute, regardless, it still has to go to the jury. So they'll come, it's no material fact question here. And then they'll try to dismiss the case. Well, they didn't try to dismiss the case, right? So now I have to bring back and strengthen the law. And so now with that method specifically, we're at the appeals court. So when I had to reinvent myself, because now I'm going on podcasts, people invite me on YouTubes and things of that nature. And like I say, I don't give out fluff at all. Yeah. So then while that's on the back burner, but it's not on the back burner, while I'm not utilizing that as much, I had to reinvent myself. I had to come up with another thing called CA1, right?
CA1, what's that?
Yeah. So CA1 is section C within the FDCPA, subsection A and subsection 1. It has to deal with like contact. And when people talk about CA1, is usually, hey, a debt collector can't contact you from this time to this time. So again, I had to analyze it, right? I had to just sit down, like literally I'll probably sit down and just stare at this law for like a day and then just research all the laws, all the cases and behind it, right? And so I came up with another method. It was called I called it CA1 because that's what the title is. But I was sent a letter. Now you got to understand, the other game was, or the other play, the other whatever somebody want to title it, was on the phone. So now I got to beat these companies in writing.
Got you.
So it was CA1 was, we'll send a letter to the debt collector like, hey, we're disputing, but the only convenient way to contact me is via email, right? And so that the debt collector would send something in the mail to the consumer, and then we'll file suit. And so again, right, I don't give out sucky fluff. So people doing that, and then here comes all of this bad case law now. So now we're gonna have to take one case and run it up to the appeals. You see. So it's just a lot of people that try to do what I do, but they don't have the mind and I don't want to say intelligence, you know what I'm saying, to do what I do and to get that result. So so now I'm coining a whole nother method that's really been productive money wise for me. And if I had to reinvent myself, I'd do it again. You know what I mean?
So that brings like two questions to mind. The first one, that since we already you just finished talking about it, is if you've been doing this for 20 years now.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is some of the biggest reasons or whatever that they got so many gaps in the law that allow you to just get in there and just do this?
Well, that's interesting because you got to understand everybody got a social security number, right? You don't necessarily have to be an American, but you in America, so you have the protection of the FDCPA. So this type of law, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, it governs everybody. It gives protection to everybody. But this is the thing. So when I'm analyzing something, I think, my opinion, it should be at least 50 to 100,000 lawsuits per year. But we're talking about under 1,000 lawsuits is filed under this section per year.
In the entire
United States out of 325 some odd million people.
Wow.
So the awareness ain't out there. So what kills me a lot is, so we're going to just talk about Midland. So Midland, they turned in, their yearly earnings, and they made 1.7 billion
off of debt.
Consumers defaulted debt, right? Credit card debt primarily. So when I look at that, so what I did with that is I analyzed their business, right? So they're getting sued. So you can go on Pacer and see what they're getting sued for. So again, you see the common thing, what they're getting sued for. Do that. You see what I'm saying? That's the lane. It's no secret about it. So if I see a $1.7 billion target, bro, let's get some money. And it's a lot of money out here for everybody. But this is the thing, man. People want to worry about 10 different things instead of just one thing that's consistently bringing in that money.
Facts.
And that's where a lot of credit repair people fail at right there.
Facts.
It's just not focusing on one thing.
And so when people do ordinary, I guess is what you would say, or I call it common now, because I feel like everybody want to be a real estate investor. Everybody want to be a credit person. And everybody want to sell life insurance now. Those are the big three right now. And so for the credit gurus, whatever
that may mean.
Whatever that may mean. For the credit gurus, like the ones, I get this wiped off your report in 30 days, 40, 45 days, how is that different from what you doing?
Straight up. I have a strategy before I even talk to you, right? Before you even come up to me. Before I even know you're a customer or client or whatever your name is, I have a strategy. That's the difference. And my strategy is going to start and end with the courthouse, period. Because if they're violating you, dude, you need to be compensated for that, period. It's nothing else around that.
And how do you know how much to get compensated for? Like you be like, all right, is it according to how much debt they are trying to get from you, or is it a number that you just say, this is what we charging to do this, or how does that work?
Yeah, man, it's all up. It's case to case.
Okay.
So case to case, person to person, jurisdiction to jurisdiction, region to region. It's no way to, just put that final number on there. But, somebody just got to put that pole in the sand and just be like, dude, this is my number. Right. And then you just go from there. So typically we're looking at $3,500, $7,500 a case.
A case?
Yeah.
And how many cases a month might be typical for you to do?
Man, I sit down at my computer every day, and my goal is to file at least one lawsuit a day.
Okay.
So I know if I file at least one lawsuit a day, if my number is 3,500, it may be 3 may settle Friday. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I keep constantly filling up that pipeline. So some days I'm doing, I think last week I did 13 lawsuits in a day, so I'm doing 6, 5. It just depends on how many people is contacting me, because I can do my part of the service and then because I do it on behalf of people.
Got you.
So that means something is coming to your house. I don't know if they're texting you, calling you, emailing you. You got to tell me that. So that's going to be my next move. So it just all depends when a person comes back to me.
Got you. Okay. And so how do you find people, or I guess, because what I found out a lot with society is people, when they don't know about it that much,
Yeah.
don't want to do it or don't think it's real. And so you got a lot of the credit gurus going around saying, yo, I take this off in 30 days. I do this, I do that. But the suing process,
Yeah.
I can't imagine that being 30 days, 45 days or whatever. And so now you got to go into a whole process with these people. What's some of the pushback you get from that?
Well, let's take that 30 to 45 day window, right? So say for an example, I always tell people, man, if I was going hunting, just give me one bullet. You have to be that solid. But like I said, before I even accept money or even knew you was in existence, I had a strategy. I just got to look at your information and just be like, all right, cool. Boom. This is what I'm going to do. So if we was in a 45-day window, that's more than enough time to make that next move. So you got to understand that if you're looking at that credit, man, that credit report is a monster, So let's say, for an example, I got a 30 to 45-day window. So if I choose to dispute, let's just say, for an example, I know right now, really, I can't really put one above the other, but TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, if I send, a communication to them and then they say, hey, this didn't come from you, right there, that's an opportunity to sue under the FCRA. So now I got to go back to the person and be like, hey, look, this is the violation. Do you want to move forward? A lot of people are scared to move forward.
Wow.
So, oh man, I don't understand. I don't know. Right. So it goes to people don't know the awareness. And I really can't explain that. I really can't explain it because of me, you step on my shoe, you call me, curse word, I'm ready to get back.
Yeah.
So you violate me, I'm ready to get back.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people, I just can't explain it, man. So my thing, right, 30 to 45 days, we can get some things accomplished as far as the ground level if there's a violation or not.
Got you. Okay. No, that makes sense. And so I don't know if it's related or not, but even like, I think it was 2 days ago, I got a little check in the mail, like $6 saying somebody sued TD Bank.
Yeah.
How does that work? And why do we get checks like that?
So a class action.
Yeah.
So class action. So let's say, for example, class action with an FCRA versus FDCPA. So FCRA, man, you got to have some money for that because that law and what they're doing governs a lot of people. So you got to notify the bulk of them people by mail. You got to keep doing it. You know what I mean? You got to give people, you got to notify people, then, give them an opportunity to come and say, hey, that's me. And then you go from there. But FDCPA, they kind of cap it just a little bit. So if it's a company that's doing a lot of illegal things, it just caps it at like $500,000.
Got it.
And so that's how it begins to be pennies. And so, yeah, FDCPA class actions ain't worth it, man. You'll spend a lot of money and it just ain't worth it. It's like you said, man, like, dude, why'd you even send me this check?
Yeah.
It ain't even worth the paper that it's printed on. Like, dude, come on.
So with you being, putting these people on Front Street, I can't imagine they're happy about it. Nobody ever tried to sue you back?
Not one lawsuit, man. Not one lawsuit. 20 years, these companies, I haven't had any government, agency come to me for any enforcement of violations or anything like that. But one thing that keeps me up and up is integrity. First of all, if I can't help you, I'm not even finna accept money from you. But if I get into a situation and I can't do it, just refund the money.
Yeah.
And then 2, I'm licensed and bonded for credit repair in Oklahoma. So a lot of companies or government agencies, when they look at that, they be like, damn, at least he's licensed and bonded. You know what I'm saying? Where he's at. And mean, just knocking on some wood, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what kept me probably, you know, the people off my back.
Got you. And then you said something. I was trying to keep it while you was talking and listen at the same time, but basically, okay, you said you can't help some people.
Yeah.
What qualifies as people you can't help?
Well, so people generally come to me to increase that score.
Okay.
So that's 100% that consumer, the client.
Yeah.
So I say, hey, you know what? Let's just say, for an example, $1,000. So I say, hey, you got $1,000, or this is going to take $1,000. If you give me any hesitation, I can't help you, because it's going to take $1,000 of your money. So say, for an example, the misbelief that consumers have is the credit repair company is increasing the score, and that's not true. So say, for an example, I get that information out for free. All a person got to do is just pay for shipping and handling, and I'll give you that book for free. And the way that I came up with that is, it was a guy in my city, and you know, he had, you know, a name for himself, and he come up to me, he obtained a service, and I was just like, bro, this is what you got to do, and he never did it, which was obtain a secure credit card, keep increasing it, and never use it, but you got to get it from a local credit union, and he never did that. And so I had a good friend of mine that's a lawyer, and he was just like, because we was beefing on Facebook, going back and forth on Facebook.
You and the lawyer?
Me and the guy.
Okay.
Me and the guy. So the lawyer called me. He was just like, hey, like, where you at? And I'm like, shit, man, they blocked me for like 30 days.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And so he was just like, good. So why don't you record yourself, like literally going step by step in very good detail. And then all I did was took that recording and then transcribed it to text. And then I had somebody take the transcription and put illustration pictures with it, and then made it a book. And then I just give it out to people. But still, people still don't understand. You see what I'm saying? Because if somebody ain't fit to invest in themselves, bro, or if that's their last, I don't want to do business with you. Again, that's how that assignment of claim thing came around. You know what I mean? So if I could make $3,500 off of this client, but you not even willing to give me $500, it's just like, all right, bro, keep your $500. Let me go make this $35, but you sign it over to me. And so for the person, it was like, all right, cool. I don't have to pay. It's coming off my report. And I don't have to like deal with this company no more, because they'll waive the debt, meaning they'll forgive the debt. And so I still do. I have done it, and I still do it to this day.
No, that's fire. Just so you feel like you be doing this for the rest of your life?
Oh man, afterlife. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the thing. I really, man, I haven't sat down and just really, you know, put my brain into a book or anything like that, because 6 generations down the road, you still gonna have that social security number. Yeah. They still gonna be lending money. You still gonna be, everybody else is gonna be dealing with these problems, bro. Period.
And so can you do what you do now because they have a social security number? Can you do it for an EIN?
Yeah. So you still have protection under the FDCPA. So even though it's 2 bodies of law, FCRA, FDCPA, you still need that, man. You still need to know that, period.
And so how are people like Trump, you know, getting money, using money, then claiming bankruptcy?
Yeah, so I don't really know too much about, like, you know, the inner workings of what he do like that, but I'm hearing it's like business. Yeah. You know, so, but I don't even deal with business. So somebody come up to me talking about business, whatever, I just be like, look, I ain't got time for that.
Got you.
You know, if I was trapping with crack cocaine, I don't got time for weed, bro. Like the
True.
crack is booming for me. You know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my lane. So this is the thing, like, it's too much personal. I think at the beginning of like January 24, February 24, the consumer defaulted debt hit like a $1 trillion. Bro, I got a lot of work out here to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I seen something on social media was just like, it's like 1.14 trillion. Dude, I mean, just in a little bit of time, you know what I'm saying? It's just jumping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I look at the whole picture. You got a lot of people out there talking about, man, funding. And I'm like, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy because, okay, cool. Right. These people is coming to these companies. I'm not saying that they're illegal, but if somebody got to come to you because you don't have a high enough FICO score to do it organically, that's the problem. Like you got to manufacture something, meaning do something out of the ordinary from whatever this person is doing. So now you got to come and get credit repair. This person got to beef up your credit. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know how to do that organically.
Yeah.
So now you couldn't manage a $500 credit card, $300 credit card. Now here comes the 50,000, bro. Your mind ain't right on the 300.
Yeah.
That's my thing about it. You know what I'm saying? But I think that contributes to that defaulted rate. But also, you know, businesses, they have to restrain on themselves too, because you got these credit card companies like Citibank and just all of them. I can't just point out Citibank.
Yeah.
You got all of them, and you got to look at this situation a little bit more than what y'all looking at. Cause they ain't gonna do nothing but write it off. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And then next thing you know, here come Midland. Now they suing you. You know what I'm saying? Now they hitting that bank account. Now they hitting that check. Now you want to squeal and talk about, oh, what can be done and this and this. You need to go back to that funding company. They got you into this. Get you out. You know what I mean?
Got you. And so with you having been doing the game so long, are you teaching people to do what you do now on the other side of that?
Yeah. Generally, man, you can't afford it, bro. You can't afford it. It's just like my network of people that I talk to on a daily basis. I'm like, bro, you selling yourself short, bro. You know? So at first I was doing it for $1,000 a month. People drop off. And then I bumped into some more other people that was like, man, dude, you doing that for $1,000 a month? Like, you need to be doing that for 25,000. And I'm like, 25,000. So I'm like, dang, okay. So a lot of my immediate contacts is lawyers.
Okay.
So I'm like, I call up this lawyer and I'm like, hey man, you know, if you, cause we only thing that's different is he's a lawyer, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you was to teach people what you're doing, how much would you charge? And he said 100,000. And I said, and and it kind of like, you know what I'm saying, messed me up because I thought about it. And so it was a guy, you know, that you mentioned named Brandon, right? And so after I'm looking at certain people, you know, paying consultations to talk to certain people, and they like, what's the benefit of what you're doing for people? And so when I talk to people and then they'd be like, okay, you want this house, right? And if you go up in there right now and you go buy this house, your interest rate is 7%.
Sheesh.
Right? And I want to say, let's measure this out. Let's really measure this out. And I'm going to say, hey, look, every time your FICO score increases 40 points, that's saving you 100,000. But if you go in there right now, you finna pay this and I'm finna save you this. So that's the value of it. So in my head, I think a normal credit repair, man, is worth 10 to 15,000 if you're going to put that on that. So how am I getting $10,000 and $15,000 per person? It's that courthouse.
Got you. Okay. Nah, that's dope. And so you know, this is the part that I want to get to that I usually call gem drops.
Yeah.
And so if people make it this far in the episode, like we want to give them exact gems on how to do something because time is currency as well. So them sitting here listening to all of this, they're gonna get the real game. They don't like to hold the fluff back. And you said you put it out there. So if somebody wanted to start the process of suing these banks, give them the first like 5 steps to really go through it and win.
All right, cool. So we basically, you know, didn't come up just running out the gate. We crawled. We didn't even know how to hold our head. We was using the bathroom on ourselves. So my thing is the FDCPA, because it's a strict liability. Hey, you did this, you got to pay. So start learning with the FDCPA, meaning learn how to draft, learn how to articulate your story, because you got to understand, you got to tell a story or tell your situation to the judge that's going to be on your side. If somebody don't feel you, they ain't finna go with you. So you got to make that, you got to articulate yourself to where somebody else say, man, I see where he's coming from. That's illegal. That's wrong. And a lot of people don't appreciate that step. And once you understand that, now you can move to the big dogs talking about the FCRA, TransUnion, and Equifax, right? So say for an example, I hit 1.7 with Experian, and the dude called me out of Pennsylvania. It's still happening to today. So they said they wasn't going to reinvestigate. That's the proper name for the communication, aka dispute. That's the proper name for it. They weren't going to reinvestigate his issues because he didn't give them his social security number. Dude, he was not disputing his social security number. So why do you need a social? So I took that and we did a mini class action because it wasn't too many people that was fighting over that issue. And it was 1.7 million.
Sheesh. And you won.
Yeah.
Wow.
So FDCPA, the highest verdict that I got was 1.5 million. And so anybody can look that up. If you type in Alan Jones debt collection on Google, the case will come up, and that was 1.5 million. It's the same thing I just said on this podcast. If a debt collector is calling you, all you got to do is get another recording device and just pick it up and be like, hey, I'm at work right now and it's not a good time to talk. And on that second phone call, that's the violation. And so, but they was saying, pay your bills, nigger, stuff like that.
Wow.
And so, the manager, he had just recently.
I thought this was the lawyers.
No. The debt collector.
Got you.
The debt collector had just recently got out of prison. So he had that prison mentality. So again, we had to do some psychology on him, and make him stand on it. You know how people in prison be like, stand on it. You said this. We had to record it. So, hey, did you say this? Stand on it. You know what I mean? And so he stood on it the whole way. And so, but he had that prison mentality to where he didn't deny anything. He really admitted to it. And so we went to the jury, and the jury said at 1.5.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. So when a company gets hit for that much, what happens to that company?
They went out of business. But it was basically they was covered by insurance.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. No, that's wow. That's fire. And so I just learned a whole lot about suing debt collectors to get money back, even if you did it.
Yeah.
Because there's a law saying that it's not really your fault.
Yeah. So So looking over, like, as you explained, like 100,000 view, you know what I'm saying? 100,000 foot view. So man, this is the thing. Yeah. I know people not paying their medical bills. I know that. And I'm not advocating to say, go get a script and don't pay for it. Go get the lien. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is when you contact me, this is what I'm doing.
Nah, that's gangster low key. Yeah. Like that's some real, you the real Robin Hood.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I got a friend that called me Robin Hood.
Yeah.
I got a friend call me. He'd be like, "Hey, Robin Hood," and I'd be like, "You know what's going on?"
Robin
But yeah,
Hood
man.
Vance. Nah, that's fire though. Okay, cool. So if people wanted to learn more about this process, people wanted to tap in with you,
Yeah.
really, listen to a lot, because I'm sure there's even more that you can go crazy on, because the law is that vast.
Yeah.
I know you put the time in there, 20 years in there. Like, where could they find you at?
Man, on all the socials, all the socials. I don't know how to be nobody else. So it starts back to Black Planet. You know what I'm saying? If you was looking for me on Black Planet, Vance Dotson. If you was looking for me on MySpace, Vance Dotson. You're looking for me on Facebook, Vance Dotson. Snapchat, Vance Dotson. Instagram, Vance Dotson. Twitter, Vance Dotson.
Everything
Vance Dotson, man. But
Gotcha.
except on TikTok.
Gotcha.
They didn't took my first page. Now I'm, on my second page. And so I'm kind of discouraged, man, on TikTok because the nature of what I'm talking about. I say, hey, man, yeah, we sued Midland and we got 2,500.
And they call you a scam.
Come on, man. Community guidelines. So I'm
Yeah.
like, man, come on, man. So I had to scale back the information that I put out on the internet, and I got hit for $5,000 probably like a couple months ago.
Like you had to pay?
Yeah. I got hit for $5,000.
So
we
we
had
lost the case?
No, we didn't lose a case. So in today's world, it's like receipts, right? So I had to. We won a case. Got $35,000. So I posted, the settlement agreement online, and then next thing you know, they was like, "Hey, we got you." So I had to pay $5,000 for that.
Damn,
for
who
breach
said
of
it, though?
contract. Debt collector.
Damn.
Debt collector. I'm telling you, man. I'm man. It's like I see some people posting this stuff, and I'm like, man, he's a rookie. He ain't on the radar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I had a case recently against Equifax that was 18 grand, and I had Equifax's head litigation person, Mr. Lewis. So if you watching this, Mr. Lewis, man, you know what's up. So he hit me up. He was like, "Hey, man, you take that down." I got the text messages right here to prove it. And I'm like, hey, out of respect, you know what I'm saying? Because Equifax got a check, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So out of respect, I took it down. But it's things like that to get me in trouble.
Gotcha.
But yeah, man. So if they keep it respectful, because they in business, I'm in business, and I'm not just talking crap. Like what it is, man. I got to articulate myself on this paper, and go through certain hoops. But yeah, so yeah, man, that's the good, the bad, and the ugly, man. Like a lot of people probably come and just talk about the good, man. Like, nah, man, I didn't. The road, it's a mountain. So good, the bad, stuff like that.
Okay, and so when you're suing these people, what does the extreme low look like?
So, dealing with, say for an example, statutorily, the FCRA and FDCPA. So FCRA says $1,000 like per violation. So, and then you got the FDCPA that says just $1,000 for this whole lawsuit. So, but how you bump that up is actual damage. So say for an example, a lot of a thing that's hot right now in litigation is the intrusion upon seclusion, essentially an invasion of privacy.
Gotcha.
Right. So say for an example, when you're doing whatever that you're doing, and then next thing you hear this ding or your phone is ringing, right? And so you like, man, when you look at that phone and then you say, this debt collector is texting me, that's invasion of privacy. You see, so the law says that's $1,000. So invasion of privacy. Invasion of privacy is like, man, like peeping Tom. That's real. It's real serious. So right now I'm going to push that to the max. I got a case right now involving a text message. And so we like to reach out to the companies and say, hey, look, this is what we got. We don't want to put this on the books, but this is what we got. Do you want to take care of it?
Yeah.
And so the company was just like, no, we don't want to talk. We don't want to talk because the name that you're giving us ain't the name on this account.
Gotcha.
Then I'm looking at it right now. I said, dude, they should have took that because it wasn't this lady's account. It wasn't this lady's debt. So now we sued, and now we're in discovery. They had to bring everything to the table. So now I didn't put it into my head that, hey, I want $100,000 from you at least.
Damn.
But because of ego, they had the right to say, they had to, the chance to be like, hey man, we need to sweep this on the rug real quick.
So they're usually willing to settle instead of go to trial.
Yeah. So now I'm pushing it. So now not only that we got the invasion of privacy, right? But we got actual damages. This ain't this lady's information, man. This lady is literally, man, she came to my office, bro, and just sat on my desk and just started crying like I got cancer. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I haven't been calling you, checking on the case or whatever. I got cancer. And she was like, I'm stressed out. You know what I mean? She's literally going to counseling. And I was just like, 100,000, man. It got to be 100. You know what I'm saying? So it's instances like that we bring all the details and put it on record, meaning these people is going through depositions. They're really putting their whole life on the line. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm saying 100, but I really wanted probably north of that. But to get them type of numbers under the FDCPA, you have to go to trial.
Got you. Okay. No, that's major, man. Yeah. Vance came on here. You dropped a lot of gems.
And it's crazy, man. I didn't did a few podcasts, man, but you brung it out of me, man, for some reason, man. Because really, people looking at this, he was like, dude, if you cap, I'm gonna call you out. All right, cool. Come on, let's go. You know what I mean? And it's really unscripted. You know what I'm saying? No script, none of that, man. And we planned the podcast to come up here, but then I really forgot about it the last minute. You know what I'm saying? It was like, all right, cool. And I was like, damn, where we going? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everything is really freestyle. This ain't no scripted, nothing.
The people that watch the channel, they already know. We done had Kev J on here. We done had Claudia Hibbert. We done had maybe credit gurus, maybe not credit gurus. Yeah. We done had a few different type of people on here, and they know what sticks. They know what doesn't. They see my questions, my responses. So it's all authentic. It's all real. But man, Vance, I appreciate you coming on the show, sharing the knowledge, the expertise. That's 20 years, y'all. He is not doing this from yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And so when somebody's doing something for so long, for one, it's hard to fake it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's real hard to fake it over 20 years, especially if it's documented. So just take note of that. There's a lot of gems. There's a lot of questions. And you know what he said. Go follow him on any platform, Vance Dotson. And there it is. Tap in. It's another episode of Attractive Mindset. It's your host, Moneybag Rich. And as we always say, we look good, we live good, life is good. Talk to us, we talk back, and we out.